Hi there, 8th grade algebra students. This is Miss Juan. Today we are going to be talking about literal equations. So what is a literal equation? A literal equation is an equation with several variables. Our job today is to be able to isolate one of those variables within this equation. Now, you will probably have seen literal equations with formulas such as y equals mx plus b. You might have seen formulas. For example, volume is equal to pi r squared times the height. You probably have heard a is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. So all of these are considered literal equations. So let's go ahead and check out the first one. To solve the literal equations, you would need to figure out which variable you're going to isolate. In this problem, we have 3y plus 4x equals 9, and we're going to solve for y. The trick is to take your finger and cover the term that has the variable that you want to isolate. In this case, we're going to cover 3y. Right next to this term, you will see add 4x. The inverse of adding 4x is subtraction. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to cover up the 3y, and then we're going to subtract 4x to both sides of the equation. Now we're going to have 3y equals 9 minus 4x. The next step is to divide the coefficient of 3 to every single term on both sides of the equation. So we're going to get y is equal to 3 minus 4/3 x. I like to do it where you can set up the fraction to every single term. So 3 over 3, 9 divided by 3, negative 4x divided by 3. And so this is in its simplest form. So the rewritten literal equation is y, which is the variable that you are trying to isolate, equals 3 minus 4/3 x. The literal equation for y equals 3x plus 5xz for x. So that means we're going to isolate the x. But in this problem, if you take a look at it, we actually have an x in this first term and an x in the second term. So there's something called what we call factoring, or when we use a distributive property, we multiply a certain variable or number into an expression. But this time we're going to take it out by undoing it. So we're going to undo it by using the distributive property. So we're going to factor out an x. So we're going to factor out an x. Okay? So we're just kind of rewriting it as a distributive property. So now we have x times the quantity of 3 plus 5z. Now, x is only one variable. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by the expression that is in the parenthesis, 3 plus 5z, to both sides of the equation. And the 3 plus 5z's will cancel out, leaving just the x by itself. So our equation is the equation is written as x equals y divided by 3 plus 5z. Context here. So here's the formula to find the surface area of a rectangular prism. It is given by s is equal to 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. What they want you to find is to solve the formula for the length. So we're going to use we're going to rewrite the equation so that it is a literal equation. So let's go ahead and start with the equation. S equals 2 times L times W plus 2 times L times the height plus 2 times W times H. Notice here that since we're trying to isolate L, we're going to figure out how to make it so that there's only one L. First of all, you're going to subtract 2WH to both sides of the equation. Then what we're going to do is simplify. Now we can concentrate on the L. So you notice that the first term has an L, the second term now has an L. Now you're gonna use the distributive property to rewrite this expression. So we're going to have an L that we factor out, and inside we're left with 2W plus 2H. Now that we have L as one variable, we're going to divide both sides by 2W plus 2H. And then these two, what we call binomial factors, will cancel out. And that is what we get as our equation. So the literal equation is L equals S minus 2WH divided by 2W plus 2H.